Every government has much, much more capability to kind of cause problems than they do to stimulate. Okay, the best thing governments can do is to abide by the rule of law, set a proper regulatory framework, and let the private sector go forward. And okay, so we're right back to the issue of reform. Indisputably, Ukraine is a more fundamental rule of law country today than it's ever been. Does it have a long way to go? Yes. Fundamentally, Ukraine has more macro stability today than it's ever had. Does it have a long way to go? You bet, especially given that it has a rather unfriendly neighbor. But the way business works is business people, okay, always factor in risk. There is risk everywhere all the time. So business people will factor in the risk, and they'll factor in the risk, and they'll look at the investment on an after-tax risk basis. Okay, they'll look at that and they'll say, I'll either do it or I won't do it. So what drives the investment is not so much concern about risk. It's does the potential compensate for the risk that you're taking, and if the profitability potential, especially the long-term sustainable growth in profitability, compensates for risk, then businesses will make that risk. So if we come back now to sectors like agribusiness in Ukraine, agribusiness in Ukraine has been going up. It's going to continue to go up. It's going to expand. It's going to deepen. It's going to become more profitable. It's going to become a more and more important player in the world, even more than it is already. You're going to see this in all the supporting industries, as I mentioned, the biotech and nanobiotech fields. You're going to see this in aerospace. All of the shall we say, sub issues around aerospace, all those opportunities are going to continue to increase. IT has a very bright future in Ukraine, and so does education because of Ukraine's, geographic location as a potential supplier of high quality higher education to a lot of countries where price is very, very much an issue. And so I see investment coming into all of these sectors: private education, private aerospace, private IT, private agribusiness, and I think the profit potential, especially when we think long-term sustainable economic profit, I think that greatly outweighs any short-term concerns we have about, the political situation and the this and the that. Because, again, I will describe myself as a pretty hard-nosed realist after having, been doing business in Ukraine in a variety of areas for more than 20 years. So I am a realist, but indisputably, Ukraine is on the right path. And I do not see it deviating. It may not go as fast as I would like, but I do not see it going backwards. I do not see it deviating. So if somebody says to me, well, Paul, if I make an investment of a few million or a few $100 million, and I'm looking 5 or 10 years in the future, what am I going to see? And I will tell them with absolute honesty and as certain as one can be that you're going to be investing in industries and in a country that's going to get better and better and better.